IVM.
IVM Likes is an IVM production, and if you enjoy the show, check out our brand new show, The Vishal Gondal Show. Every fortnight, Vishal has in-depth conversations with super achievers from various fields like Ronnie Screwvala, Amish Tripathi and others. You do not want to miss this.
Hello and welcome to IVM Likes. My name is Abbas, and for a change I am hosting the show today, even though we have people who've hosted the show before. Today on the panel we have Sharanya,
Yay.
Josh, Navin and myself. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello. Yes. Ready for another round of recommendations?
Mm-hmm.
Always. I'm always ready to recommend things.
Yes.
And it's like a small family reunion after a while.
Josh is yours.
Yes.
Oh, so fun.
Char.
Nice.
It's like the original lineup. He's back.
But I've been waiting for a while to publicly acknowledge Josh's past humiliations where I've told him Bahubali and all that happened. It's all in the past because I watched Bahubali over the Christmas
It's an
weekend.
apology.
And I really
He's
loved
convert.
it.
He's a convert now.
Good. It was amazing. I called him up immediately after the first one and I'm like, dude, this is so good. And how I've been living in this delusion that maybe all South Indian movies are the same, but it's been busted, and I really give Rajamouli hands.
Big time.
You have changed minds,
Yeah,
Josh.
I'm telling you, man, when people saw Star Wars for the first time.
Oh my God.
That's the feeling you'll get when you see Bahubali, man.
It makes sense because one of the moves in Bahubali has been replicated in the new movie, The Last Jedi, where basically, how Katappa and Bahubali are fighting, and then he says Mama and throws a sword towards him. Then he catches it mid-air and slices the guy in mid-air. Same thing happens in The Last Jedi when Rey and
Not only that, man, Wonder Woman, the 3 arrows in Wonder Woman.
Yes.
That was
Everything.
That was straight Bahubali, dude.
Everything is inspired by Bahubali, guys. Alright, so on today's show we have a bunch of recommendations. We have a documentary film, we have a documentary TV series, we have a YouTube channel, and we have a musician that all of us will be recommending, each of us. Alright, we'll start with Navin. What's your recommendation, Navin?
Cool, I'm keeping it small. Basically, I'm recommending a musician, and this is all an offshoot of watching Troll Hunters because you recommended it. And towards the end of season 1, where the characters Jim and
Andy.
No.
Do not spoil it towards the end of season 1.
I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay, I'm getting a little iffy.
There's a small waltz that the main characters do to the song called RS2,
Right.
which is sung by the singer called Carla Morrison. And it's one of those moments where you're watching something, you stop, you check out that song, and then you just
listen to it all the time.
Yeah, you just stop watching the show. And everything, it's one of those songs where you're basically sitting in a cab or rickshaw or wherever. It makes you stare out into the oblivion and look at everything that
You're
nice
in a music video kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's everything is better with the world for a second. That's her voice,
Right.
And I checked out most of her discography and every song of hers. She's an indie pop artist from Mexico.
Oh, from Mexico.
Yeah, so her predominant language is Mexican, but the way she sings, the way she really gives it all that, and it's very relatable. So because you have to appreciate when a foreign singer makes you listen to the lyrics and then convert it and translate it to English and then understand what they're trying to say. Also, it's a big thing. So I think really check out her songs, Carla Morrison. Other good songs are Todo Pasa, Te Regalo. Whenever I say it, it sounds like a weird language.
Spanish. Spanish play.
But they're difficult to pronounce as well. There's Mi Años and Ves Primera. So good stuff. Check it out.
Wow, so sweet. I love when you find songs from TV shows and stuff. When you discover artists. It's so good.
And you get
I think
on.
Amazon Prime has that thing, right? Like an X-ray, which gives you in that scene what song is playing on, who's in the cast.
Yeah.
That's a great feature, actually.
Very useful.
That is my dad in real life when we're watching Mughal-e-Azam, because every scene he has trivia about it. Alright, so that was Navin's recommendation. Let's go to Josh. Josh, what do you have?
Okay, so I am recommending a documentary series on Netflix called Rotten.
Okay.
It's just come out. The notification, it said 4 days ago. So it's fairly recent. And it was Becky actually who told me about this show. But essentially it's, I don't know how many episodes are there, and I've only gotten through about 3 of them. So it covers stuff like honey, it covers peanut, the peanut trade, it covers garlic, it covers different sort of commodities that you buy.
Okay.
And for example, in the honey episode, what they cover is what is called the honey mafia and honey laundering.
Oh,
really? Okay.
Yeah. So there's this thing where, I'll just brief you on one episode. So the idea is that in current honey production, the populations are going down.
Right.
But the demand for honey is going up. So the thing is, people are obviously like drug dealers cutting the honey with other spurious.
Okay.
Some are cutting it with like I think sugar, like golden syrup. But then there are these tests that will test like the purity of the honey. So if they're not detecting anything, it's actually a problem, because then it means that somehow they found a way to bypass the test, So I think they were using some kind of rice-based thing. So China has been exporting a lot of honey, and what happened was they started putting tariffs on China to stop this sort of spurious honey that they're exporting. And what they ended up doing was they would export it to Malaysia, and then from Malaysia they'd export it to America.
Oh, okay.
So there are all these different things, and you're just like, oh my god, there's like an actual honey mafia, that's going on.
Every time you say honey mafia, I have it this visual of the mafia just kidnapping housewives everywhere.
or
Honey, I'm home or not.
Or Honey Boo Boo forming a mafia.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is just one episode.
It's
So
like
that's
the B
honey.
movie that we never got.
Yeah, actually. So that's one episode. Then there's one on peanuts. There's one on garlic. There's one on sort of various products. So I would.
It's all food products though.
Yeah, and it's
where they come from.
Where
like
they come
tracing
from,
the origin.
and so sort of the issues maybe surrounding that trade, and like with the peanut thing, it was more to do with allergies and how people sort of it's a cheap substitute for if you're cooking with almonds. It's a cheap substitute for almonds. So sometimes people will cut corners and use peanuts, and then
but those have nut allergies, and people who have nut allergies,
and they won't be told kind of thing. So there's this like incident where a guy dies because he has a curry at an Indian restaurant.
Okay.
There's one Indian guy running an Indian restaurant in England, man. Two of his restaurants, like he gets fully prosecuted and everything, man. Like gross negligence and all that. So
the episodes are like worldwide. It's not concentrating on one particular.
Well,
part
so
of the
far, yeah, it is. It's just sort of globally, but I think it is sort of America focused in a sense. But it's America, then England, and so I still have to go through it. But so far, what I've seen, it is very exciting, and it'll just give you a weird insight into the food that you eat. So I think it's pretty.
What do you think?
Nothing like a halfway recommendation.
I know.
From Josh.
3 episodes in.
Sorry, guys.
Next week, like it gets really bad, guys. Stop watching.
So far, so good.
Is it one of those where I'll get paranoid about what I'm eating after
No,
watching?
no.
Wait, you told me this fact about this garlic before this episode, and I'm already freaking out about that.
Yeah.
So this one thing apparently is it's a small part of the garlic episode, but they show you that some of the peeled garlic that they get in America is in fact peeled by Chinese prisoners. So it is pretty.
And they peel it all day, so their hands get tired, and then they use their mouths.
They're using their mouth. So
I'll
some of
still
that
eat
garlic
it.
has
I
touched
know,
the
I have to
Chinese
eat
men's.
it. I mean, it's garlic.
Yeah.
But again, that's only the ones going to America, because Americans don't want to do peeling themselves.
It does
That's
get
true.
pretty painful. I've done that. Like I've done it.
It is, peeling is really,
like for family functions and all, they
real
make you do it, and it's like your fingertips start bleeding after a while.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine.
Yeah, and these guys have like a whole coat of garlic to get through during the day. So they're like super. Their fingers are just like gone by the end.
How long is each episode?
An hour. Each is an hour.
Okay, nice. Rotten. Is
Rotten.
But why call it rotten though?
Because it's a rotten
It's kind of
history
the
behind these
seedy
things.
underbelly of certain sort of food
Yeah.
commodities, I would say.
The things that you eat every day in
Yeah.
your daily meal.
Yeah.
Do you know where they come from? From a rotten past or whatever. That's the
All right,
point.
so that was Josh's recommendation, and we move on to Sharanya. What do you
Yay!
have?
I've got a food recommendation also.
Okay.
So I've been watching a lot of food-based YouTube channels. And one of my favorites, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's called Binging with Babish. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's only a year old or something. And the idea is that this guy called Andrew Rea, he recreates things from pop culture. Right? And it's really minimalistic because it's one camera, you only see his hands. And he has a really soothing voice, so people always watch it to sleep and stuff. But he cooks something from, from a TV show, or from a book, or from a movie. And he tries to recreate it first in its as original form. And if that is not as good, he'll make a version of it.
Okay.
Because sometimes they're really good. Sometimes, when people describe food on TV shows, they're like, oh, I love that something. And they describe it. But in reality, that's not actually edible. Or it's going to be horrible if you make it. So he makes a bunch of things. Like from Friends, he makes that trifle that she makes, the one with lady fingers. And he tries to make a better version of the trifle. He makes, if you watch The Office, Kevin makes that famous chili that he spills on the floor. He makes that. From Parks and Rec, that burger off, they have Chris and Nick Offerman. So he makes those burgers. He makes a bunch of things from all of these TV shows. Some of them look incredible. Like Master of None, all the pasta he makes so good. From the first opening scene of Chef, I think there's a scene where he makes pasta for Scarlett Johansson. He tells you how to make that perfectly. And it's a really high quality video, and it's nice to watch, because sometimes when you're watching food shows, the visual element is so important, because I can't watch videos where people are eating a large quantity of food. It just looks gross to me. Makes me sick to watch it. But this show is specifically like designed and made really well. He makes like Flanders hot chocolate. From 30 Rock he makes that Lover's Delight. He makes the pumpkin pie from Harry Potter, all the Game of Thrones stuff.
Yeah.
And his character, like his real name is Andrew, but he uses Binging with Babish, because if you watch The West Wing, Babish was one of their attorneys who has that long, like Oliver Babish. It's really a pop culture steeped video, and it's all like their tagline being like, eat what you watch, instead of the other way around.
But he's obviously guessing what goes into the ingredients.
Yeah, he's guessing by watching the video as much as possible.
Okay.
So, like the first time he made Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce, he made it like he thought it would be. And then when they came out with the original one, he bought that and then he recreated that, saying, okay, this is what was different in the original from what I made.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes he's guessing. Sometimes they tell you. Like in West Wing, this is one time where the president describes this dessert with tomato. Okay, he describes it really like, oh, the juices are stewed in the tomato and there's this in it. And Babish is like, it sounds horrible, but I will follow it exactly. And they do it, and every time he eats it, he like throws up a little bit. And then he'll make like his version of it.
Okay.
And if it's so bad that you have to have an own version, he'll make that. But usually he'll try and be as close. And some of the grossest stuff is from It's Sunny in Philadelphia. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Some of like really gross things, like chicken in milk and some other shit that he'll always make, and then he'll attempt to eat it. It's very nice.
So it's just him cooking and eating.
It's just him. His hand, you can't even see his face almost all the time. Very rarely you'll see his face. Only when he's throwing up food, you'll see his face bent down to the camera. Because it's a single camera. It's a tripod pe ek camera, and that's it. So you only see his hands, and he's usually drinking through it. So there's like whiskey on the side, and he's constantly drinking through making something. And it starts with the theme song from Frasier. The scrambled eggs. So it's a really great show for anybody who likes television and thinks, how is that possible? Or like that thing.
Yeah.
And if you think of anything from food, from pop culture, there's so many things, right?
Yeah.
Every show has so many things. Seinfeld has so many. And sometimes they're really descriptive and really specific. And then you'll just like try and make that. And it's really fun to watch.
Seinfeld, there's the soup Nazi, do they?
Yeah, they do. They do the bread thing also. The one he steals once.
Yeah.
Where they want to buy this bread and they go to this deli, and then it sells out, even though it's a long line. It sells out the one they want, so they steal it from an old lady who bought it,
And they run.
It's really good.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the YouTube channel is called Binging with Babish, and
So each video is how long?
like 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
I've made the chef wala alio olio pasta, and it is really good.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
What's
Chef,
that
they
from?
have that like.
And he makes
Achha,
those
chef
Cubano
wala.
sandwiches
Yeah,
as
Cubano
well.
sandwiches
Yeah,
is
he
the
makes
one
that
I
also.
wanna
It's
try
all,
it out.
Ooh, check it out. Check out Binging
It's
with
nice.
That.
All right.
Yeah.
That was Sharanya's recommendation. And finally, rounding it off, I am recommending a documentary which is also a Netflix original, Josh. It's called...
Don't move like for
Netflix,
this.
I know.
Our listeners are
Like, oh, elitist channels, guys.
it's called Casting John Benet. It's based on this real case of this 6-year-old girl called John Benet Ramsey, who was found dead in her house. She was one of these kid beauty pageant winners, and the two main suspects in her murder were her parents. And unlike most true crime shows like Making a Murderer or The Keepers, the interesting thing is how Casting John Benet unravels the story, because there's nobody from that case who's interviewed. Instead, what the filmmaker did, and the film is directed by this woman called Kitty Green, she went to Colorado, which is where the case happened. She went around, gave an ad for a fictional film that will be based on this. And then all the people who came to give screen tests for those roles, like her mother, her father, the police chief, she kind of unravels the story through them. So the entire film is like vignettes from...
But those guys were not actually there at that time.
They weren't, but
They're
this was a major case.
Okay.
So
the residents were kind of knew what has happened.
knew what happened. All of them are giving their point of view from what happened. and it's like how all of them perceived it in a different manner. And it also is a peep into the how, you know, since this is Colorado, it's a small town. It's like one of those where if someone came in an advertisement somewhere, they think they are like established actors now. So when they come, they're giving their screen test, they think like they've got this part and everything. And then
Just like Aramnagar anyway.
yeah, exactly. And then there are the slightly older people who have a day job, but they do this acting gig on the side. So there's one guy who's auditioning for the police chief who's actually a sex educator. So how that interview goes from talking about the case to how he's educating children about sex and what he thinks must have happened, how he thinks the child was abused, so on and so forth. And then they intercut these with the actual film that they made, okay, the one which she gave an ad for.
So they're intercut the making with the actually made film.
Yes, so it's like layers of storytelling happening, but you have to see the film to check out how they actually unravel.
And they never solve it, is it? Or do they solve it?
They don't solve it, but they put forth the different points of view of what might have happened, because there are various. It's like a whole Reddit section of
course,
what must have gone down. There's a intruder theory. There is a theory her father killed it. There is a theory her baby brother killed her accidentally, and the parents tried to cover it up and all of that.
Wow.
So it's a very interesting film, but the way they unravel it, it's a look at how actors perceive the roles, also how real life impresses upon acting and cinema and film. So it's a very interesting look at this case. It's called Casting John Benet.
Her name is John?
John Benet, Jonbenet.
Oh, that's a full name, is it?
Yeah.
Let's know.
Yeah, John Benet Ramsey was her full name. So it's on Netflix right now, streaming. Check it out.
Netflix is doing some really weird documentary stuff, huh? Right
They
now.
are, yes.
There's a lot of stuff. No, there's even the toys thing. Did you guys see the toys
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
recommended
No,
the last one.
recommended.
Oh yeah, that was so just
Cool.
interesting and weird and nicely done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool what
Yeah.
Netflix is doing.
All right,
But
so
let's recommend some Prime stuff and some hot stuff next week.
Hey, I was going to recommend Hotstar, but then some people were like, enough of your regional shit.
No, so I tried watching The Man in the High Castle and I could not, so I'm like, no.
I watched some Amazon original which are not bad.
Okay, we'll talk
But
about
you
it.
don't remember the names?
Mozart in the Jungle is not bad.
Next
The
week,
Tick
next
was
week.
not bad. Pushpavali was pretty okay.
The Tick. I thought you said the Dick. I'm like,
They do have.
Dear Dick.
No, I love you, Dick.
I love you, Dick. I always
That's the
confuse you. All right, let's recap all the recommendations.
Yeah.
Naveen recommended.
Carla Morrison, she's a singer.
Josh,
Rotten documentary series.
Sharanya,
Binging with Bavish, the YouTube channel.
and Casting John Benet, the documentary. All right, at this point, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about some of our favorite award show moments. The Golden Globes just happened, what we think about that, and in general, what are the most memorable moments from award shows. So see you on the other side of this break.
Hello, I'm Sanjeev.
And I'm Tushar.
And this is the Rotomouth Podcast, a weekly show where we talk about motors and motoring in India. Cars, bikes, rickshaws, buses, friends, familiars, and time pass.
Find us every week on the IVM podcast app or any other app you might use. Stuck in traffic? Put on Rotomouth. Taking a while in the loo? Rotomouth is there for you.
Dude, that sounded particularly disgusting.
Thank you. But seriously, catch Rotomouth every week.
Welcome back. In this segment, we're talking about award season, guys. We're in the new year, which means award shows and red carpets and watchy board slideshows.
Tears,
Also because
crying.
January is just like a very overall sad month for movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Like over the
That
last
makes
weekend,
sense.
I've watched Insidious, which was just like hilariously bad.
Insidious.
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 From page it
And
to
I was getting, I was
It's not
getting.
deciduous, okay?
Insidious.
Insidious.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because
Did
I'm
they
gonna
not
watch
use
it
the
again.
word in the movie?
No, not this time. And I watched Jumanji, which we
Oh, yeah.
actually spoke about this in the last episode,
Yeah.
like nostalgia marketing, and Jumanji is shit, guys. Please do not watch it for the life of.
Thank you. You've saved...
400 rupees, 300 rupees,
yeah,
200 rupees.
because I didn't want to watch it, but I did kind of want to watch
Yeah.
it, but now I don't want to watch it.
It's just like 2 hours of Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart, and Jack Black is stuck in a woman's body for 2 hours,
Oh, God.
and the girl is a bimbed for 2 hours, and actually Rock is the only saving grace in a way, but then like it also gets old very fast. Like there's
Yeah.
so much humor induced in this for no reason. And
Oh, really?
like, yeah, and the worst part, okay, I'm going to spoil it for everybody, doesn't matter.
That's fine.
Spoilers,
It's
come
fine.
back after 30 seconds.
It's spoiler.
20 seconds.
Yeah. So basically, the original game board itself becomes a video game console when a kid finds it at the beach and like, oh, who plays board games? And then like the game understands him and overnight becomes a cassette and then
Shut
he plugs
up.
it.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh,
You fucking they fucked it right there.
right there. I'm like, just like,
Oh my god.
End of spoiler.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Sounds like shit.
That film is not winning any awards.
Yeah. I think it's a good time for award shows because that's when you realize like I haven't watched this, I haven't watched that, I haven't watched. I did this really horrible thing this year where instead of watching some of them, I just read reviews and made up an opinion about it, which is why I was really disappointed with the Golden Globes Best Movie, which is the three
billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Really bad reviews across the board. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those
Mixed
prestige movies that nobody likes except the people who vote for these.
Yeah.
But the Golden Globes was fun this time because change in tone.
Yes.
Which is very
Big
important.
change.
Including the E-red carpet. Like celebrities were straight up
wearing black.
Yeah, they were mean to E-guys only, to Juliana Rancic and to Ryan Seacrest, because a couple of weeks ago there was a story about this journalist who quit from E-News because the gender pay gap is really big.
Okay.
So many of the celebrities walked up to Julia and said, "Oh my God, I hear is E paying you less than Ryan Seacrest right now?" Deborah Messing did that. It was so interesting because red carpets are so silly and they've always been so silly.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, we would get up early in the morning to watch the Oscars or whatever. And the red carpet would do stupid things like a manicam where you would walk your finger so you could see the manicures.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you haven't seen manicams?
Yeah, manicams are a thing.
No?
Yeah, and they always
I don't
ask
watch
stupid
much
questions.
Oscars
Juliana Rancic asked Issa Rae, if you were to write a memoir, what would it be called? She already has one. It's on the New York Times bestseller. So Issa was like, if I write another one, it's like, how can you not do this basic research when you are interviewing a celebrity?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, the Globes were still fun. You guys had big things happen. What do you guys think of Seth Meyers as a host?
I saw the monologue
Yeah,
and
I just saw
I
the
quite
monologue.
liked it. I think Seth Meyers is a good writer. So
Yeah.
One of those underrated performers, because he talks very well, he has great ideas backing him up. But like,
and again, holding no punches, jokes about Weinstein, jokes about Woody Allen.
That joke about Weinstein was hardcore.
yeah.
so that will happen a lot, I think, in the coming season in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I also feel like there have been some bad monologues in before, and they've always been a little bit women bashing sometimes. So this has been like, obviously Seth Meyers already has a reputation for being a very good
Person
host in general,
Yeah.
and also making that really thin line between saying things that are okay. In fact, the game that he did where he would set up the
Jokes he can't tell.
where he would set up the context and
they would say the punchline.
There's a nice way of making the room feel like it's all fun. We're all having fun. And it's a good way to like involve people, and of course it just gives Amy Poehler a spot, so I'm happy with that. I feel like who's hosting the Oscars this year? Jimmy Kimmel?
Jimmy Kimmel, yes. Like last year.
Isn't it really like super dull with these host choices? Why are only talk show hosts allowed to be
Because I
hosts?
think it's a comfortable space. They know they can hold the audience. They know they can
Like they've tried Anne Hathaway in the past, and
Correct.
Anne Hathaway
And
James
James Franco,
Franco,
James Franco as well. Both
Yeah.
of them were very bad.
I mean, I get that you need comedians because you need that kind of atmosphere. But it's usually only people who have late night shows.
It's like only,
Chris Rock hosted the year before last.
Oh, yeah?
even,
Yeah, the one there was a lot of controversy about no black people
Correct,
being
correct.
nominated.
That was the talk, correct.
So
Even,
that-
I mean, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey don't have really talk shows of their own. They're both actors and writers.
Yeah.
But they were hosts on SNL technically.
but 3 years in a row they did Golden Globes, so like it's,
Oh my God, they were really
and there's
good too.
only so many times you can book Ricky Gervais too. So it's just
Oh my
like,
God, I liked Ricky Gervais a lot, but it was a little bit like,
they were take on purpose. Like,
Yeah, it
after
did not
a
feel
point, it's like,
natural.
let's see how mean you can get,
Yeah.
and then it loses the fun aspect of it.
it loses that.
I think so.
I think the fun thing about Golden Globes this year was, so it had like a great highlight. The monologue was great, started off well. And then it petered out interest a little bit. And then right in the center of the show, they made like Oprah.
Yeah.
To like save it. Because
I saw that.
Golden Globes has no performances or anything of that sort. Like they don't do the singing,
Musical
the
parts,
music.
yeah.
So there's no break from just awards. So then just in the middle of that, getting Oprah was genius.
It's like when I saw that speech, I'm like, good luck to the people who are going to follow this. Like, nothing in the show is going to live up to this now.
I was already very excited about Oprah winning and Oprah being there. And what happened was I didn't see the show live. I saw it the next day.
Yeah.
So I had already read tweets that Oprah was amazing.
Yeah.
So right up in the monologue where Seth Meyers says Oprah Winfrey is winning the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Yeah.
What a tremendous honor for Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah.
I already was like teared up. I was like, oh, it's true. She's so amazing. So by the time she came up, I was straight up weeping, sitting in Goa watching the Golden Globes weeping.
But it was a great speech.
Yeah.
But I am kind of getting tired of Americans. The moment a celebrity makes a good speech, they call it presidential. I'm like, did you learn nothing from what went down?
Elect entertainers to
But
be
if anybody
president.
can, then I think Oprah can. Like,
But then again,
What does Oprah know about policy?
She's great.
she'll figure out. Everybody gets a policy, man. Like, when you want a policy, you get a policy.
But
Look at
she
their chest.
actually has a university, man.
That's true.
She actually, like, not like Trump's
I mean, if you had to pick
bullshit.
an entertainer, you would pick Oprah.
Sure,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
who else could
and
you
she's
pick?
done
If you're looking for the
charitable
well-being of
stuff
women in
and-
general,
Yeah.
you'd pick Oprah because like
Yeah.
she's gone through so much shit.
Yeah, she's like a legit businesswoman.
That's true. That's
She's
true.
not
Only
like
thing
this fucking.
she
missing
does
from
on
the
a
entire
network.
moment when she gets standing ovation,
Yeah.
I was missing Meryl Streep there. Just
Yeah,
like,
just like-
mouthing words and like backing her up. Just like I needed that. Like last Golden Globes and this Golden Globes
Yeah.
coming together would
Yeah.
have been amazing.
Yeah, that was really, it was a really nice
this
moment.
really funny tweet of The Rock watching Oprah speak, and he's like, when your aspirations comes down to VP after watching Oprah speak, because The Rock
I
has
know.
been going around
Oh,
saying
yeah.
he
Yeah.
might run for president.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
now
true.
we have like
that's true.
Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye
Rock,
gonna run.
yeah, Oprah.
Oh my
Great.
That
God.
the Americans have. We have Rajnikant, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have Rajnikant. that's
Rajnikant is
true.
coming into
Rajni
politics.
Mandram.
Yeah, oh god.
And then Apna Sachin, who's sitting in the Rajya Sabha.
Correct.
What? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I thought like some of the awards were a good option, and some of them were really bad. Like Natalie Portman pointing out the all-male best directors
Yeah, that's
category.
true. That was
You gave best movie comedy to Lady
Lady-
Bird.
Lady Bird,
Lady Bird, yeah.
and he didn't nominate
Get a
Greta
nod.
Gerwig for best
Yeah.
director. Makes no sense.
Yeah, also Patty Jenkins didn't get a nod, which was also
some of the
bad.
stuff was really awkward. Like I didn't get it. Like why did this person? Like sometimes it doesn't make any sense. But the Oscars are different. Right? Oscars don't have a musical comedy or a drama
No, they don't,
difference.
they don't, yeah.
They have just 10 films that are best of the year.
Golden Globes by and large is like a film fair where they add options
exactly.
if they want.
Correct.
Yeah,
That is
But
true.
also, I think the voting system is different.
Yeah, because
Hollywood Foreign
for
Press.
Hollywood Foreign Press, whereas Oscars is completely different jury.
Yeah.
And-
Or it's like you have to be a member. Like it's all the members that vote
Yeah.
for the.
It's an academy.
Yeah, the
and
academy. yeah,
Oscars
members
are
of the
also
academy.
really only movies, so that becomes already
Yeah.
limiting because Golden Globes is a very much a party.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
was the
like
beginning of
about
the
it.
year.
That the TV shows and
Yeah, exactly.
movies
Yeah.
awarded on
And
the
there's so
same
much good
night.
TV this year.
Yeah.
They need,
There's so much good TV this year. My God.
there should be at least 2 in the Oscars, I feel like, for just like sound design and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, like I was watching this German show called Dark, and it's got some great music, dude.
There was a lot
Again on
of
Netflix.
jokes and controversy earlier in the year because lots of people were saying Twin Peaks is technically a movie. It's a mini series,
Yeah.
and it should not be a TV show. It's stupid. It's a TV show. But TV show. But what differentiates a TV show from a movie? Right?
Because it's
Just
on
the scheduling
TV.
and the hours
No,
and
movies are made on TV now, right? Netflix makes movies.
Yeah.
What is a movie? What is versus what is it? Honestly, in quality, there's no difference in TV and movies.
Yeah,
There's
no.
no quality difference. There's no budget difference. Will Smith is in a movie, guys, on
That's
Netflix.
true,
I mean,
yeah.
there's no difference between star power. There's no difference in directors. Barry Jenkins directed Dear White People, one of the episodes.
That's true, yeah.
yeah.
So there is no quality difference
But
in
that is
people.
the best episode of
I
the
know,
entire.
my
That's,
God.
like I cry for that episode.
Yeah, there's no difference between television and movies in quality. The only difference is movies are a full 2 hours and TV shows are broken up into
Yeah, yeah.
pieces.
But quality wise, like
There's
equal
nothing.
amount
There's
of,
no difference
Yeah,
anymore. In
definitely.
fact, it is tougher to make TV shows, obviously, because you're making narratives that will last 10 episodes, 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So, obviously that it's different now. So
It's tougher to make good TV shows.
that is true.
Because man, if you go on like Hotstar and all, and if you go look up like Malayalam TV shows like Bharya, there's 1,634 episodes.
Episodes,
man.
correct.
Which is like impossible to go
Yeah.
through because they're just churning it out like.
Yeah.
Possible for some Mallus who have no like other work.
No, because it's so cheap. Because they put no money in
Yeah,
it, man.
it's
So they
very,
just
very
have to
cheap.
put it out. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're putting it out like how we put our podcast.
That's okay. It's just like
Oh, Josh. Did you guys think it's very surprising? Even now, every year to year, oh, this person is the first black person to win
First
this.
colored, first black
It's
person.
crazy.
It
Like,
is,
it's
yes.
2017. Viola Davis won a couple of years ago, and she
Yeah.
was the
The
first
Emmy, yeah.
woman. That's
That was a
craziness.
Yeah.
great speech that
Yeah,
she gave.
she had a really good speech.
Yeah.
Even like, this year, Sterling K. Brown was
Sterling
the
K.
first
Brown.
person at the Golden
Aziz
Globes.
Ansari, I think the first South Asian to win.
I'm surprised Aziz
a
Ansari
Golden
won.
Globe.
Master of None?
Master of None was good.
How
He
can
won
you
best,
say that?
He won best actor, but in that
Really?
category there were a lot of better people. I feel.
Yeah, I agree on actor.
I felt like Aziz
Maybe,
Ansari's
maybe,
contribution to Master of None, his
The
acting
writing
is the
is-
worst.
Yeah, that's true.
Writing, everything else is
Those
before
last, I think the last
just
3
him being-
episodes were just like It was mainly the pork episode that was the
Thanksgiving episode
that one
was
and the
great.
Thanksgiving
was great.
one also, yeah, that was cute.
Also the one where she lives over at his house at night and then they dance to an Italian song.
Yeah,
that
was
did my
okay.
heart
The
break.
John Legend one. No, that's a different
No.
one. The John Legend one was good also. But except that ending where he's just sitting in the cab.
Yeah,
Just like,
it's so
when is this
long,
going to get
it goes
over?
on and on.
You're just
But I
watching
like
this
the
guy.
song. I looked up the song as well when he's driving.
It had a good playlist for season 2 for sure. Yeah, it was a really I feel like award show in the space of what award shows are meant to be, which is just entertainment. And of course in India we treat them very differently because they are completely they have no official standing whatsoever anymore.
Yeah.
There was this, I have to mention this. I was watching the Z Cine Awards a couple of days ago. So the Best Lyricist award is announced. The guy comes up on stage, accepts the award. Then the host, who is the guy who plays Gutti on Kapil Sharma, who's
as Gutti.
as Gutti
Oh
for the
my
entire
God.
show. So then he's like, आप कुछ हमें सुना दीजिए आपने lyricist का award. So this guy reads out 2-3 couplets, and as he's about to leave, the host is like, please tell us about this initiative you're doing with ZTV about something. And then he's like, there is this song I've written with 10 of our best playback singers. I'm like, now they're not even hiding. That is why we're giving him the award. Because he did a song for us. Like, come on.
So they're like now award show hosts who are cross-dressed versions of themselves from a show that's not existing on TV anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like,
some other
has
low.
there ever been a time where any Indian actor or anybody in the Indian industry has won an award and used that speech to say something of relevance?
Never.
No.
None that comes to my mind.
Whereas internationally already, like if you read a lot of the reviews for Golden Globes, obviously every woman mentioned it.
Yeah.
From Scientologist Elizabeth Moss to every single person. None of the men mentioned anything, right? They didn't even bring it up. They were like, Franco was like, this is my party. I don't care. Nobody brought it up. Ajit Ansari didn't say anything.
We're also blocking Tommy Wiseau.
Like super woke people who don't want to talk about, like Ansari for example is very open about stuff like that. He just didn't say anything. He was like, again, I get it if they felt like it's not their moment to say stuff. But
when the year Viola Davis won, that year Jeffrey Tambor also won, and he won for Transparent. So we at least mentioned about trans people.
Yeah, that's true. Oh
so
my
they
God,
all,
but now he's
now
accused.
of course
Jeffrey
it's all maligned.
Oh,
No,
as
we
of,
can't
as
talk
of this
about him.
recording, guys, Stanley has been accused of groping
I saw.
It's
James
just
Franco as well,
sad.
by the way,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
this point. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
James Franco, it's on record. He on Instagram he approached this 17-year-old girl for stuff
On Instagram.
On Instagram, then there are screenshots of this.
but that could be like somebody using. I don't know.
No.
I don't know why I'm defending him.
Just read the
he
whole
was
thing.
supposed to give a speech at something and it just got cancelled. I heard, like whatever. It doesn't matter.
And it continues.
So this award season obviously is going to be a little bit more somber because it has to be. And all of those guys are wearing those Times Up pins.
Yeah.
It was really nice though because all the women who are part of the Times Up initiative bought dates with them who are activists.
Oh, okay.
So Michelle Williams bought Tamara Burke, who's the person who started the Me Too movement. Amy Poehler bought in Suru Jayaraman, who does activism work for restaurant workers who are usually sexually abused or whatever. That was a really nice, again, a nice optic thing to do, I guess. I mean, it looks nice, and the women all wore black in solidarity, which was cool. I like that. But I don't think I have that higher expectations from the rest of the awards show season.
Right.
Because the Oscars honestly does not care what happens in the world.
Yeah.
They just don't care. They are out to do what they want to do, and they are completely oblivious to race issues or sexual harassment issues. They just don't care.
They don't give a shit. It's like an elite white people party.
Exactly.
That's like,
It's very much a white people party.
Which biography should be given an award this year?
I know.
So I think now that Oscars are coming, and they can't top what happened last year, like what happened with Moonlight, La La Land mix-up. That made the headlines. And
Yeah, my God.
So I don't know. I think Call Me by Your Name will be the very closest
Really?
in terms of the.
I mean, I think all three movies that have been sort of indie and breaking stereotype, which is Lady Bird, Get Out, and Call Me by Your Name. Those are only added, I feel like, as a thing that people like, but they don't really win usually.
Yeah.
Usually they don't
Let's see,
win.
Milk won, so I don't know. We can.
I mean, Moonlight
Milk won
won.
for
Moonlight
best
won.
actor, right?
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
I'm talking about like giving issues like
But Call Me By Your Name, I don't think either of the actors are going to win because Timothée Chalamet is not nominated anywhere.
Yeah.
The
Armie
other guy
Hammer.
is. Armie Hammer was nominated for the Golden Globes,
Yeah.
supporting actor.
No, but that way the Oscars do have a reputation because I remember when The Dark Knight was nominated, it wasn't nominated for any of the
Anything.
major awards,
Yeah.
only for technical. And then the joke going around was maybe in the third movie, Nolan can make Batman a World War II Jew who's also gay.
Yeah.
And then he can win
Yeah,
the
the
award.
Oscars have a tendency to look down upon commercial films,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
films that do like superhero movies. Obviously, never get
Yeah,
very rarely
they get
get-
all the technical
Of
awards,
course,
but not
of
the
course.
main ones.
But really nice for Shape of Water to win the award.
I
they
was
did.
very happy
That was very nice.
because Guillermo del Toro beat Spielberg,
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, and Nolan to win that award.
I think the Golden Globes always usually best director usually goes to people who make visually stunning films and
Okay.
not as much as prestige, whereas that always
Right.
goes to the movies. I really expected the Post to win.
Okay.
It just seemed like the kind of thing like
Yeah.
Spotlight, right?
Tom
It's like
Hanks,
yeah.
Meryl Streep,
Come on.
Spielberg.
Journalism,
Yeah.
free press.
But I really, as someone who's been a fan of Guillermo del Toro for long, I really loved his speech as well, where he said monsters saved my life.
that was very sweet. He
Yeah,
was very
that
nice.
really nice.
He always looks so out of place.
I know, yeah.
I love it. Him and what is the guy who
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. Every award show he comes to because he has to because he has a
Yeah.
movie. He
he's
just
very
looks,
shifty.
Yeah,
What is
and
that?
every time somebody makes a joke about how quaint he is, he's
Yeah,
like,
he's
whatever.
just
He's like, okay. Yes, I drove my unicycle here.
It's just like he's got like a proper poker face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be a good. I mean, it's never award season is never really satisfying unless something insane happens.
Yeah.
And if looks like Three Billboards will continue to dominate award season, I don't care. Okay,
No,
I haven't seen the movie. I have only heard enough reviews
I think
of it.
Let's check it out.
when the Golden Globes, so I remember the year Avatar and Hurt Locker were in the main
Yeah.
two, and Golden Globes went to Avatar. Then the Oscars tried to outdo the Golden Globes by making it more authentic and indie than the Golden Globes. But let's
But
see.
Hurt Locker won that, you know.
Hurt Locker won the Oscar, yeah.
Yeah.
That is our story.
But I don't think they
that
were
is-
trying to outdo them or anything. It's just like they had decided beforehand in a way.
I know it's more. I feel like it's more that sometimes the Oscars try to. If there is a movie that's doing really well in the award season, they'll try and do something different from that.
Subverted.
Yeah,
Like for example,
yeah.
when Social Network and King's Speech were the two main contenders, it went to the King's
Speech,
Speech
yeah.
because Social Network was too commercial for them
Yeah.
to give it
I
up.
think when James Cameron was, they had Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, I think, had this really brutal joke about James Cameron. About how Zero Dark 30 was getting a lot of flack for like
Yeah.
all the torture, and they were like,
Yeah.
I trust Catherine Bigelow, the girl who was married to James Cameron for 3 years.
Yeah.
That was such a good joke. The Emmys usually have that video in the beginning.
Yeah,
where they bring all their
yeah,
cast
yeah,
together.
yeah,
that
yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoy.
Yeah.
But they do it, sometimes they do it for the Oscars as well. I
Yeah,
think
sometimes
so,
they do it for the
yeah,
Oscars. Sometimes I like an opening sketch. Do you guys like an
Yeah.
opening sketch?
I love
I
open
love it.
sketches.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they really
Emmys do it very well actually.
If they do a song and dance, I don't like it because I
Which
find
is what Seth
I
MacFarlane
hated it.
did.
I hate it. The one where I've seen your boobs, no, not good.
Yeah.
Not good. But every time they do an opening sketch that brings people together, I really enjoy it. Like there was way back, there was that one with The Voice and Game of Thrones and Parks and Rec, where Amy Poehler's talking like Khal Drogo. It's so funny. It's so good.
There's one more with Modern Family's cold open. Like, we have to change the game and then like, they
Oh.
expand into different, like putting the other characters in,
In
Modern
different
Family.
I love that
Yeah,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah, that's really nice.
There's one which they did Game of Thrones characters in The Office.
Yeah.
Which is also
Or
very
when
funny.
Breaking Bad, where he comes to the office to sell drugs to.
Yeah, to Creed.
And then Julia Dreyfus tried to sell her Emmy to these guys.
to a pawn
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's very nice. Sometimes they do really good stuff. I think
Yeah,
Emmys are usually more fun because TV people are a
Yeah.
little less pretentious about
Yeah.
their awards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun stuff though. Let's see how it goes. You guys should do a prediction episode.
We'll
for
be
the
doing an
Oscars.
Oscar prediction episode. If you have any thoughts,
Bet
let
some
us know.
money, guys.
Yeah, sure.
If you get it right, you win.
Oh, one movie I'm excited about is Molly's Game. I want to check it out and then we'll play poker in the studio.
Molly's Game didn't get nominated for the Globes also.
But it's
She got nominated, though.
She got nominated.
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain.
Angelina Jolie didn't get nominated. Her movie didn't get nominated anywhere.
No, the First They Killed My Father
Yeah.
got
Foreign
Golden Globe-
film.
Foreign film.
Foreign
Oh, foreign.
yeah.
Foreign film,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. It's not part of the
Angelina
regular film
Jolie is
category.
no Hollywood anymore.
Yeah,
She's
that's true.
foreign.
Okay, that was the episode. Let us know what your Oscar predictions are, and if you have, if you want to bet and join this betting pool, guys,
Yeah.
we could make some money.
Yeah,
Going
sure.
5-1, 5-1.
All right, bye.
There she stands, a podcast addict, outside the bank, having travelled several miles to get in with other poor souls like her. The journey, though daunting for this youngling, will have some comfort because she has downloaded her favourite podcast. You can see more of her species on IVMpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.